morning, guys. Welcome to another video. Well, I got a new 2022 Ford Super Duty here, and as you guys can see and as everybody knows, they come with a lot of rake, higher in the rear and lower in the front. They do that for a couple reasons. One is for when you put a load in the back, it levels it out rather than the front end riding higher. And the other reason nowadays is for fuel mileage, but we like to level these out and make them look better. And it's 2.5 inches. And the way I measured that, I've done it two different ways. I measured from the fender wells. We got 43 inches here. And in the front, we have 40.5. So that's 2.5 inches exactly. I measured on the frame underneath also, just to make sure that was correct, because I wasn't sure if the wheel wells were even with each other, but they are. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a level kit in this thing. I'm gonna do a 2-inch kit. I don't want it to be completely level, because if I do carry a load, I don't want the front end riding too high. So we got a 2-inch kit from Amazon, a MotoFab leveling kit, and we'll show you that here in a minute, and then we'll get started on this. Okay, so what we have here is the leveling kit that I got off of Amazon. It was $27. It's a MotoFab 2-inch leveling kit for Super Duties. It's for 2005 to 2022. You can see they scratched it out because everything's so new right now, these new trucks. Anyhow, it was 27 bucks. We'll have a link in the description below. They're machined aluminum, solid aluminum blocks. They look like they're powder coated. They're really nice. And they got a couple of new bolts. This thing's supposed to take 1.5 hours to 2 hours to install. It's really simple. These go on the bottom of the shock towers, not on the top like most trucks. So there's a lot less work to do this. Again, $27. Now we're gonna get started. Okay, so we have the truck up on 2 jack stands, and they're on the frame. And then we have a floor jack underneath the front axle, and it's supporting the axle. So when we disconnect, we're going to be disconnecting the lower shock bolt over here, the tie rod end, and this brake line. And then after we get that all disconnected, we'll lower the front end down on the jack so we can get to this shock tower right here, this spring tower right here. Okay, so we've disconnected the shock, we disconnected the tie rod ends, and those are both 18 millimeter. We disconnected the brake line, which was a 10 millimeter, and we disconnected the brake line up here, which was a 13 millimeter. And then we lowered the front end low enough to where the spring just came right out. And now that the spring's out, we're again gonna be taking the 18 millimeter and we're gonna be taking the shock tower off. And then once we take that off, we'll refer to the directions. I think we install that block underneath this and we put it all back together. Okay, so we have the spring perch off and we have the spacer. And what happens is the spacer goes in there with the bevel down and then the perch goes on top of it. And they supplied us with a bolt, a longer bolt, and we put Loctite on the bolt and we put it all on there. All right, it's gonna go like this with the bolt with some Loctite, and we'll do that and we'll come back. Okay, so now we have the spacer underneath and we have the spring block back in place, and it says on it front, and it has a little arrow. Plus we made sure we put it back in the same direction. And it has this little stopper back here where the spring goes. So now we take the spring, and the spring has the end of the coil, and the end of the coil goes in where that little stopper is, and then we just put it back in and we make sure it's turned correctly. And then we'll do the other side, and then we jack it back up. We make sure we get this all lined back up as we jack it up, and then we'll bolt everything back together. We've got everything back connected. It went together really easy and well. This has been surprisingly easy. We connected the shock, tie rod end, brake line, put the spring in. Now we're gonna put the wheels back on, drop it down off the jack stands, and we'll have a final look at this. Okay, we got it down on the ground now, and you can definitely tell it's been significantly lifted. I remeasured the back, it's still 43 inches. And now the front is 42.5 inches exactly. So we've lifted it 2 inches exactly. It's a 1/2 inch lower in the front now than the rear. Like I said, you can get a 2.5 inch kit also to make them dead even. And that there was done in an hour. It took us an hour to do that, so that was really easy. I got these new LED tri-lights from Amazon. They really have brightened up this shop, and they've made working in this shop much easier. I'm gonna get some more. I think they were $15. I'll put a link in the description box below. Well, there you have it. That's how you lift your truck for under $30. That was really easy and fast. We'll have a link in the description below for this kit. And we want to thank everybody for watching our channel. And please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we'll have plenty more firearms content, hunting content, how-to content coming in the future. And we'll see you on the next video.